Boys, girls, NBs, anybody's. Welcome on in for a very, very, very special presentation of Boredom McBored. I'm super excited to talk to you all to start off the Christmas cheer and to get things going. But Elmo has a little surprise. Santa came a little bit early and decided to stop in with somebody who is extremely dope and took out a lot not a lot of her time, but took out some of her time in her very busy schedule to make sure she can come through with me. So without further ado, the surprise you've been waiting for. Miss North Carolina, Forbes 30 under 30 class of 21, HighlightHER founder and the original voice of women's sports before the bandwagons and before it became a fad. There was one person in the space who was doing it for all the women out here, and it's none other than a boom 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 Ari Chambers. Hello.
If I could put you in my pocket to get you to do an intro like that all the time, everywhere I went, I would be less wound up. Okay, less wound tight.
Well, you know, I'm a hyper up of all people, and so
clearly,
yes, no, we're a hype squad around here. So obviously, I have to give enough justice to one of, I say, the stalwart OG voices in the game, somebody who respected the women's game before the rest of the world came on. I have to do it big for you, okay, Ari? Especially because I know you're busy.
You took it back to North Carolina days, so that was a little whoa.
Yes.
Whoa. Her research. She dug in the trenches, okay?
Girl, when I do research, I like to study investigative work, okay? Period.
Anyway.
No, absolutely. Ari, I did a little bit of introduction for you, but would you be willing to do a little bit of your introduction or lead yourself in, I guess? Say a little bit of words about who you are.
Of course. I mean, you did a great job introducing me. I simply, but not reducing myself, love to help facilitate women's sports stories. That is what my passion, my mission has always been. That's what it always will be. I have a genuine curiosity for the athletes who are within women's sports, and honestly, not just restricted to the athletes, the culture of women's sports as well. So just being able to walk in that is my bio, walking in my purpose of being a women's sports storyteller and facilitator, and honestly advocate. And thank God that the advocacy doesn't have to be so front facing anymore, because people are finally meeting women in sports where it's at, which is at the top. We out here, period.
Out here doing it, you know what I mean? And it's a long time coming, because obviously you famously coined a phrase like the WNBA is so important, but it stretches out to women's sports is so important. And during this time, we are seeing a massive growth. So I know for you, it's got to be exciting being on the forefront of that growth. You know, that's why I emphasize the fact that you are an OG.
Look, I'll receive that, and I do love being on the forefront, but I like to shift my perspective to be in the midst of it, because when you're in the thick of things, you never position yourself as an outsider of it. Like, I love the fact that we're building so much, and there's so much more building to go. The most dangerous position we can be in is thinking we're already making it. And so let's stay in the weeds of it, stay in the thick of it, make sure that the momentum is sustainable and more people get on it. You mentioned in coining the phrase WNBA is so important. It was an accessible point for everybody to relate to and be able to perpetuate. And so that perpetuating should continue as we continue to grow. And it is extended throughout all of women's sports. Again, I do cover all women's sports, no matter the age level, ability, or sport. And so everything I touch, I want that to be reflective of that. But thank you for saying, like, hey, we out here.
Yeah, because you're extremely humble. One thing I was doing when I was doing my research is you always like to deflect and say, oh man, the sports. But no, I want to give you your flowers, because you are that BTICH in that order. And you are that girl.
In that order. That's okay. I will say thank you for calling me humble. I do receive everything that you say, and I do acknowledge my contributions, and I still do it from a place of decentering, but I'm not naive to the contributions of the time. I was even confidence is like my strong point. So that's never something you have to be like, I don't shy away from the accomplishments. And I don't think any successful person does. I think that they really, really are proud of themselves and bask in it, but don't take it for granted. I think that anything that's given to you can be taken away. So
Yeah.
I just want to remain hopeful and knowing that it's a blessing to be working in the spaces. But no, girl, I don't shy away from it.
I mean, confidence, baby, you gotta have it. And
you
mentioned about, working in the space, and this weekend you actually came from Texas, good old Texas, where you covered actually Baylor versus Texas. Tell me a little bit about what you saw that weekend, how that was, because Texas went ahead and did their business as we expected, but there was still a lot of fun content that came out, and I want you to look at it because Ari was over here ribbing our girl Minnie Madison in some of these clips.
Okay, so it was my first time in Austin and Waco. Never had been to any of it, right? Just none of it. So when I went to Austin, I realized that the Longhorns, they're set. That budget. Period. And it just so happened to coincide with the NCAA Sweet 16. So I got to watch some elite level volleyball, and I'm a huge fan of the people who come from that Texas volleyball program. So to be able to witness that excellence and then go in and talk to Rory Harmon and Madison Booker and see how they make each other better and how they have a mutual appreciation for the excellence that they put forth on the court, and then get to talk to the rest of the team about the culture of Texas, reunite with my friends Lindsay and Sid, who are both on the coaching staff. Hear Coach Vic Schaefer run the practice and just make sure that he demands excellence each second of practice, despite it being practice. I'm so sorry if you can hear my dog in the background. You mentioned Elmo in the intro.
Yes.
Literally, I named my dog Rocco just so I could be like, hello, Rocco. But anyway.
And I'm like, Rocco too. You're like Elmo, right? Rocco, please stop it, Rocco.
Anyway, but then I moved down to Waco, Texas, where we got to have fun with Nikki Collin and her crew. And we ripped the runway and got to talk to them, and they did their pride cake. Again, I like to give people flowers, so I had them brag on themselves by putting what they're proud of in the cake. There's a trend. I don't know if y'all seen it on social media, but it's very cute. Check that out. Then it came game day, and it was about a top 15 battle. Obviously, Texas was very dominant in that one. And unfortunately, we saw Talia Scott go down with an apparent ankle injury.
Huge bummer.
Stay close to that.
But
when you have your star player that the majority of your offense runs through go down like that, it's just that, like, paired with the Texas defense that was already forcing what I think they did force 30 turnovers.
Yes, they have been dominant defensively this year.
Texas got 42 points off those 30 turnovers, whereas Baylor only profited 2 points off of turnovers they forced. So just the stifling defense of Texas, and then having such depth to them, it was clearly the better team that day. But though they're in separate conferences, it was a really fun rivalry environment for who runs Texas. And right now, I guess UTA.
Hey.
I got it.
You know what? And it makes sense. You talked about that good budget. I have not been able to
Both
go.
of them run long though. Let's not get it twisted. Those Baylor facilities were great. One last thing with inside Baylor. What I love is they had so much representation of where you can take it to the next level. Every single person who's ever made it to the WNBA, they had their jersey on the practice facility. You see it not just in your arena, in the practice facility.
Yeah.
So that you can see what you can be later on. It's great.
I love the fact that there are goats of goats, like, staring at you every time that you're
like
about
BG
to.
Right,
exactly. You better make that layup, okay? The spirit of BG lives with you. No, I traveled to Baylor for a esports competition. I hosted one last year, and so the facilities there were so amazing. I don't know if you saw, like, the Zordon Tower that they have in the student section, where you walk in and then it's boom, you're like assaulted with a product where it's like, you'll love Baylor here. It's insane the amount of production that they have there.
Go Bears!
Go Bears! You will be a bear, I promise you.
You will be a Baylor Bear. there.
Yeah. But you talked about, being on Texas, and that game was at Texas. We talked about the fact you love to cover women's sports. Did you do a little bit of volleyball watching? Because honestly, I was over it. All of my faves lost, so I was very sad this volleyball weekend.
So I did, and I was actually traveling during the Nebraska A&M game, and I get flooded with text messages. I'm like, surely people are just enthusiastic about volleyball. I was like, what? And I obviously, as a journalist, you want to be as non-biased as possible, but just to know Harper Murray's journey and how she's really been able to mature over the years. And she set a standard for what she wanted to accomplish, and that not happening this year, I was heartbroken for her in that program. To go undefeated like they did, and just have that one off day. But that's the excitement about turning time. Like, you can't have an off day. You can't have a game where somebody out efforts you. You can't position yourself to have to reverse sweep. You can't do that in NCAA volleyball playoffs. You just can't, and especially when you are the one that people are gunning after.
Yeah.
Because you're Nebraska volleyball. I selfishly wanted to see a rematch of Nebraska Wisconsin. I just love that rivalry in general.
Yeah.
But it wasn't Nebraska's year, and that's really hard to say because they had only lost 3 sets total that whole entire season.
Yeah. And so, part of it was a reverse sweep too. So you were hoping that they pulled the reverse sweep, unfortunately, and just it wasn't in the cards. And you talk about Harper Murray's story. I relate to that a lot because I'm somebody who has ADHD, and so for me, I really appreciate her fact that she struggled with depression with ADHD, and she's still able to be such a successful person. It's good that she has been able to control a lot of her narrative, but I really hope that she can get one of those rings so people get off her back.
Yeah, one more year to do it.
One more year. A lot of
pressure coming off undefeated seeders. It's almost harder going into playoffs undefeated. It's almost more pressure because you literally cannot lose. And the numbers game is just not in your favor. And so, I was really proud of how she ended up handling that loss.
Yeah.
It was way more mature than I would be able to handle a loss like
Please.
that.
I would crash out. Please.
But that's a testament to how she's been able to manage her emotions over the years and just live within her.
I have to shout out, I talked about this. Our guy Wayne is in the chat. Shout out to Wayne.
Where is Wayne? Oh my God.
Yes,
Wayne.
He's in the Wayne. He's in the chat right now. He says, OMG, my two faves. Nah, my two faves on Twitch. This is wild. What is life?
Wayne is my guy. And I know we're going to talk about my journey, but it was me and Wayne against the world, literally having to do what we had to do to be at different events. You want to talk about OGs, he's right by my side. We just had him and his one camera and his editing skills, and me and just a dollar in a dream, a literal singular dollar in a dream. And we shared rooms, having to go to these Final Fours without any type of resources or backing, and we finessed our way. And I am forever thankful for Wayne. And pull up on me, Wayne. I know you just in Boston around the corner now. Come on now.
And I told him I would pull up on him eventually too, but we were supposed to have a phone call, and I was just going to drop it on his lap. So, hey, Wayne, this is what I was talking about.
Last time I hung out with Wayne, we were like frolicking in Atlanta, child. We ain't getting into that. But like,
we ain't getting into that.
We had a time. We had a time. Okay?
You will not tell on yourself. I will not get you to tell on yourself, or at least the dirty secrets right here.
Real one, That's why you are a real one.
Come on now. I ain't trying to get on the confidentials, but I do want to talk a little bit about your journey, because you touched on that a little bit. And this is a journey. One thing you talked about me doing my research. I did some research before I obviously interviewed
what else
you.
Well,
I remember what you did last summer. Terrible stuff. Okay. No, I'm just kidding.
That's how rumors get started.
Right. Nothing terrible. I promise, audience. But I relate a lot to your story because one thing about me, make this a little bit conversational. I have been somebody who comes from a non-traditional background. I mentioned this earlier before we started, but I've done work in the esports space, which a lot of people, when they hear that, they don't realize that it's an ecosystem where there are broadcasters, people, doing production. We run full productions, and I've been a lead host doing like 13-hour days back to back to back. And I've been growing and grinding in that. And you talked a little bit about the fact that you grew and you grinded on your way to becoming the GOAT that you are. But you didn't always want to start out doing production or all this going on. In fact, you actually wanted to do law, but you didn't do law because of quote.
How did you find this information out? Did I say this publicly?
Yes, you have said this information publicly. Several places, by the way.
Shout out to you.
Yes. I'm like narwhal over here. I look and I listen. You didn't want to do law because of quote. Empathy and activism. I actually relate to that a lot. So what exactly made you want to make that switch?
Just for the simple fact that the prison pipeline for Black people breaks my heart. I took a trip to Tulsa. I don't think I've ever said this story. I might have, child. I took a trip to Tulsa, Oklahoma, and I was talking to a woman whose son was in prison for 20 years over weed, and I couldn't make it through the story without crying. So imagine me having to represent him in court. And I'll be broken down. I just have too much empathy for being that. I wanted to do criminal defense, and so like it just would not have been good. But I just know that the prison pipeline is set up to not see people of color come out unscathed. And I just couldn't commit to that because I can show my activism in different ways, but that hardcore law it's just not for me. And so that's what made me pivot.
I relate to that so much because coming out of college, I did computer science. I never would have thought that I did, journalism, production, all of that. Mainly because I switched from computer science to do entertainment, mainly because when I was coming out, excuse me?
Because you needed to look at that personality.
Because I needed to, because of my personality. And also, man, you're trying to get out in the computer science gang. I wanted to be a game programmer, but unfortunately from my college, Spelman College, love my college, but it was a lot of pipelines to working in pharmaceutical companies and banking companies. Hey, do you want to help bomb kids internationally? Like, no, I don't want to help bomb kids internationally. I want to be able to use my voice and my purpose for greater things and making people smile, being an activist.
Well, you've made me smile no less than 20 times, and we're only 20 minutes in.
20. So. I like to get my purr. We were talking about player efficiency. I like to get my purr up. You know what I mean? Get the stats on the board. Shoot.
Speaking of fur, there's fur. My dog broke into my studio, so if y'all hear pitter patter, that's literally because the dogs have broken.
We'll actually, funny enough, talk about your dog a little bit later too. When I tell you research, I'm an active listener. I love the fact that you did this for a purpose of coming out of your heart. And that's part of the reason why you do such excellent work in women's sports. You said that you struggled a little bit with, like, you dropped out allegedly, but then you came back.
Allegedly is hilarious. It's a fact. I went to UNC Charlotte my first year. Started modeling freshman year of college. And moved to New York. Did not tell my parents. Just moved to New York, dropped out of school, and was like, "Hey, I'm in Manhattan," and they were like, "That's cute. Drop back in." And so I ended up applying. They were like, "That's adorable." What? So I've always been like hyper independent like that. We can unpack that later, but I've always been like super independent. I'm close to my family, but like very like they trust me to be an adult once I turned 18. But they were like, we're a family of educators. Like my literal grandmas were professors. So like, it's not like we can get out of this. Ended up going to NC State, probably the best decision I've ever made. Charlotte was great too. Had a time at Charlotte. It was super fun. But I definitely allegedly dropped out of school and moved up to New York to become a model, and I did.
Well, I have to ask, were you waffling between, the fact that law is practical, quote unquote, and that, the modeling and creative arts, unfortunately, aren't particularly looked at as I guess, especially coming from a background of educators, is not seen as valuable as something like having a law degree, because that's something I struggled with. You can go get 6K, 6K. You can have six figures working at Google, or I can actually, enjoy my life and not kill kids internationally. Was that something that you were like struggling with?
You just don't want to bomb the children,
I
which
don't
is
want
like
to bomb the children. It
not
all
bomb
circles
the
back
kids.
to not bombing the children.
I mean, and that's what it is. Get rid of the explosives. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
No, I never grappled with that. I never. No.
Mhm.
The short answer, no. I should have. I didn't.
No.
I'm fortunate enough, privileged enough to have all my basic needs met, and knew that just no matter what, I would be fine. Like my dad, he's a mass comm professor.
Yeah.
But also he's in a band. So it's not like I never had to try like one or the other. You know what I mean? Like there was never a situation where I was like, I have to sacrifice arts for a career. Because arts could be a career.
Like, yeah, because you allegedly played like the clarinet and other things like that. You're a musician as well. I've done my research, girl. I have.
I'm a woodwind girly. Yes, I am. Yes. I'm literally. There's no way I said that wrong. Anyways,
you have.
Clarinet, and I just went clarinet, flute, and piccolo. My God.
Ooh, girl.
She's well researched. She's well researched. She's running off in the snow. Oh my God.
Get my trombone. I played trombone for 20-some years or something like that. So here's my baby, my silver bone.
I love that. I sold my clarinet for rent my first month in New York. So I sold my clarinet, my acoustic guitar. I sold a couple more instruments, all to make rent my first time living in New York outside of a model's apartment. Oh. So that's where my instruments went. But there's a lot of sacrifice that came in order to be where I am today. But she wasn't for still having instruments.
Yes, no, I mean, this is my baby. Sometimes I still pick it up and I'm like, maybe I'll play it again. I actually marched in an HBCU band, so I have a lot of pride for that. I actually will transition into that, but I will want to say, audience, she wasn't lying when she said it was a hard time in Manhattan. You had to get that income, right? Income up.
We had to do it how we like. That's what I'm saying. Like Wayne's in the chat. He knows my broke days. I was broke. Okay, everyone's like, no, you couldn't have possibly. Yes, I was broke. I hope people girlies know. But I mean, hey, you have to make sacrifices, and I was willing to sacrifice my clarinet in them. So.
And you know what? Judging by the results, I think the sacrifice was a smart sacrifice. Okay.
The cost of an action was surely greater than the risk. So hey, I had no risk. It was returned.
But I have to ask you. Obviously it's a tough time for a lot of people. So those days of struggle are the story of a lot of people right now. But people still have hopes. People still have dreams. My question for you is, how did you keep a steady mind and remain focused on what you wanted to cover, despite the fact that, the income wasn't always good and probably the opportunities, especially working early in the women's game, weren't always clear. There wasn't a clear path to a big thing.
We had to make it. I didn't keep a steady mind. I was off my freaking rocker.
Yes. Okay.
But I was
I feel valid.
I because I was doing what my calling was, like sometimes you don't choose your calling. I never thought I would go into journalism, but because I was walking my purpose, not doing it felt unnatural to me. So when you're misaligned like that, it creates an uneasiness. I'm a Pisces, so I get very energy driven. When I wasn't walking in my purpose, it was more uncomfortable than the sacrifices that I had to make to not do it. So I had no choice. And I didn't keep a sane mind. I was literally nutty. Yes. But my balance was I was able to do things that I love. Like I love walking runways. Back then this is going to sound awful, but I was 60 pounds lighter. I was a fashion model. Back then you had to be rail thin. It was ridiculous. But walking a runway made me happy. Performing at Madison Square Garden in front of 10,000 people every night made me happy. Doing the storytelling that I was doing made me happy. Now, was I eating bananas every day and maybe rice and peas off the, like the block? Yeah, but like team meal, bananas and rice and peas were great. Like, because it helped me get to where I needed to go. And then ask Wayne, we would have like 3 and 4 plates of food at that media meal. Like, we be eating.
Come on.
Popcorn too.
You gotta eat to eat, okay?
Okay, you gotta eat to eat.
Period. You talked one thing about modeling. You talked a little bit about how you modeled. Why model? Why not? Were you ever in a bind between whether or not you wanted to take modeling more seriously or your broadcast career, journalism?
I never considered taking broadcast journalism seriously. So like when I was modeling, that was my focus, right?
Yeah.
When I started HighlightHER, that was a mutual agreement between myself and now Warner Brothers Discovery was Bleacher Report House of Highlights then, that I would build it from the ground up, but I still wasn't convinced that like that there was no standard for seriousness, if that makes sense. There was no like, this is what I need to do, because I approached it from an entrepreneurial lens. I created what the space would look like for me. So I already eat, sleep, breathe women's basketball at the time. Then I was challenged by the women athletes like, hey, no, like softball, we're only making 5,000 a season. I was like, whoa, we have so many more problems. So I was challenged like to be engulfed in the different sports there. And so the preparedness came because it was familiar and I was within it. I was in the thick of it, bringing it back to our open, in the thick of everything. So like I took it very seriously because my calling is to facilitate storytelling and advocate for women's sports. Right. But also it wasn't like I have to like hunker down, be like, yes, broadcast. Like, no, I approached broadcast as a conversation. I approached it as I'm going to deliver the information I know to the general public as if they were sitting next to me on a couch. And nobody really tried to change me. So that was something that came naturally, right? Modeling was a lot more difficult on me because it was a lot less natural. I'm like a natural, I'm just going to be very candid with you. I'm a natural size, like 4'6". Yeah. When I was modeling, I was 00. So like I had to be on an extreme diet that was very hard. I couldn't work out. This is back in the early 2000s. So like it was a very different standard.
Body standards were very rigid. Very rigid.
So it was like we weren't allowed to work out. We just had to eat less. Like it was a whole thing, which I would never want anybody close to me having to endure. But doing that, having to fit in, like making sure that like we couldn't, change our color without asking our agency. It was just a whole, it was a whole thing.
It felt so restrictive because I'm sorry, not to cut you off, but you feel like you're a freer spirit. So that feels very restrictive for somebody that I can tell that you love to be in control and love to like.
I do love being in control, girl. I love control.
Yes,
I do. I love control.
You're like Janet Jackson over here. Come on, whole dance routine and everything.
Yeah, come on, Janet. Yes, yes. We love Janet over here too. But no, it wasn't for me to be expressive. Modeling was not my expression. I was a walking hanger. That's just, it is what it is. Yeah. Editorial work was a little bit more freeing, but editorial doesn't pay. So I can be free, but I'm gonna be broke. Yeah. Like it is what it is.
Free work, unfortunately. It is hard out here. Come on. But I don't wanna say that you lied because this is I love introing this to Ari and then getting her to worry because this is exactly what I did before we even started. I was like, oh, there's a thing anyway, but I don't want to call you a liar. I think that you didn't lie, actually. I think you reframed what you wanted to say, and I think I understood what you said. All of this to say, I saw Ari a couple months ago at Autumn Johnson's Women in Broadcast TV Summit. Shout out to Autumn Johnson. Amazing amazing event. Yes. And you said you had to sit down talk with Maria Taylor. And you talked a little bit about the fact that you said, quote unquote, I didn't play sports, and I think you meant to say I didn't play basketball, because I was going through
I said I didn't play sports. That doesn't seem right, because I literally played volleyball and I was a competitive cheerleader my whole life. I said that.
Yeah, I think you misspoke. I think, or I heard wrong. Misspoke. I could have also heard wrong too.
I definitely misspoke. I know I didn't play basketball, so it was hard to work my credibility up there.
Yeah.
But sports, no, I was an athlete my whole life. I can't imagine how people live their life without being an athlete.
Yeah, no, and I wanted to talk about that because I did marching band, HBCU marching band.
I must have really been like, I'm no sleep or something. That's crazy.
That's why I was maybe I was sure because I was listening to
No,
doing the research. And I was
athlete,
like,
girl. I went pro too. No, I'm definitely an athlete.
right? I was like, you lie your life is, but I was like, maybe I misspoke. Maybe I misheard, but I was like, oh no, wait, maybe it was probably me. I'm not gonna lie, girl.
Either you and me, something was going on.
Some was in the air, some was in the atmosphere. But I think that you answered my question. Is cheerleading a sport? I've done
absolutely the hardest sport. Everybody else throws balls. We throw people. I practice 3-4 times a week to compete on weekends. So we have head-to-head competition. It's a point system. You have skills that you have to, there are levels. There's no way, shape, or form that cheerleading is not a sport. Cheerleading is the hardest sport. And that's a hill I'm gonna die on. It's the most physically taxing sport. I would say maybe like cheer and gymnastics.
Yeah.
And they're two very different sports, let's be honest. Like cheerleading has a mix of tumbling, stunting, jumping, and dancing. I never cheered for people until later in life. And so like we didn't have the go team go part of it. We had the physical aspect of it. And tumbling, it's literally tumbling, stunting, jumping, dancing. It's a lot of cardio for 230 straight. And we build up to 3 people high. And it is extremely and it's a sport that you have to start young too to be very successful in. So like your body just doesn't naturally invert and throw itself over like that. Like you have to, it's a sport you grow up in. It's a sport that's like a lifestyle. More people go to the cheerleading world than the Super Bowl.
Yes.
It's a fact. So cheerleading is absolutely a sport, and it's IOC sanctioned. So just because we didn't vote in LA 28 does not mean it's not an Olympic sport, because now it is.
Period. Because I've done HBCU marching band, and for me, that feels like it's a sport. I've learned camaraderie, teamwork, a lot of different things from it. And you talked about that physically taxing. I stood so many hours in the 85, 95 degree, 100% humidity sun.
Y'all some good ones. Outside is crazy.
Oh man, with one leg up the whole time, girl, just up there. Period. And if it touches the ground, 25. Let's go. But
exactly. Well, that brought me back to my days whenever a flyer, any part of a flyer would like touch the ground, even if it's her pinky, we'd be on the street running. I'm like, Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. Outside running is crazy.
The amount of hell that you go through for people, for sports that aren't considered for some people sports, but we know that we've been through it and we know that it's sports. We've gone through a lot. So besides the physical aspects, what's something that you've learned from cheerleading that's made you be able to cover women's sports a little bit better? Added that plus.
Well, I'll raise you this next one and apply it to life. In cheerleading, you stunt, and I've gone on record saying this a lot. In cheerleading, you stunt. There are 4 people in a stunt group, 2 bases, 1 flyer, 1 back spot. And I used to hate when people fell out the air. I hate falls, because that means that everybody did their job wrong, right? If the flyer is loose, she's unstable, she's coming down, right? If the bases don't get the grip right, coming down. If the back spot doesn't spot it quick enough to grab, it's coming down. You have to, but like there are 3 other people that can save it. So there's no reason why that stunt should fall. And that's the mentality that you should have whenever you're trying to reach your goal or stick a stunt, is that as long as, like, if one person's lacking, cool, that you can compensate. But if everybody does their job, there's no way to fall. And you have to know which job you're doing, right? I was a back spot in the flyer, but I'm not going to be trying to do what the base does. I'm a trust that the base is going to get the grip right. I'm going to trust that they're going to be stable enough and, be together enough to give a strong foundation. If I'm flying, I'm trusting my back is going to have the right grip on me so that my ankle won't turn or anything like that. If I'm a base looking up at my flyer, I'm trusting that she's pinching a penny, which means squeezing her butt to make sure she stays tight and lighter for us. Like it takes everybody to work together to be able to hit it sharp, but everybody has to do their job wrong in order to like let it fall.
It takes all of us, right? I forgot whose quote is this. This is back in the NFL jerseys, it says it takes all of us to have it in the end zone. It takes all of us, and teamwork makes dream work at the end of the day. Camaraderie, I've learned a lot about camaraderie and how much it takes, especially in the event of a production. It's one thing for me, I'm doing this stream, and it's one thing for me to be able to like go through all my boxes and to make sure this is right. Versus when I do an actual broadcast now on my own, it's like, oh, I don't have to worry about that. It's all in the broadcast. You know, production's talking in your ear. It makes everything more seamless and better, and reemphasizes the fact that sports is important for you as a growing human being, because you always tap back into little things that you never would have thought would have actually made such a big impact in your life. Little things like, for me, like a showmanship. And band, we used to know you can't just, if you're like making like dance routines, do a little dance, you can't just do it like right here, nobody can see. You have to do it big so everybody
you have to commit, girl. Yes.
Come on, you gotta connect to the audience.
I need the footage.
Huh?
Of you. I need the footage of you in the band. I just need it. I need to see this after. Like, I need it.
I can show you. I actually was a section leader back in my day. Oh, now we got the boss going.
She ran the world.
Girl, yes. Right. And I was a section leader in an all men's band too, so it was very, very some growing pains actually. Some.
He's giving drumline.
Yeah, for real though. I actually, and this is how I know I have the gift of charisma, because somebody who was extremely sexist to me ended up being one of my closer friends because of it. I was able to flipping and reversing.
And there's that. We love it. Changing men one by one.
One by one. We are the world. We're at the future, and we're getting things done. This is going to be a little bit vulnerable, potentially. You talked about the fact that you're an empath. This sports media world, where I talked about it, you elaborated, I should say. The sports media world, or this world, this capitalistic world that we live in, isn't always kind to people who are forward people. Self-centeredness is rewarded a lot, unfortunately. So my question to you, how do you find the courage to lead with your heart in a world that's not meant for empaths? Because I can say, when I talk to you, I feel your intention with every interview. I know the fact that you are connecting with people. I know the fact that it's very palpable, your connection and your emphasis on making sure that we get to the heart and soul of a person. So how do you lead with your heart in a world that's not meant for people that express and lead with their heart?
Yeah. Delusion. I never thought the world
is the Salulu, right?
Right. It's literally the solution. Like, but also I have a genuine curiosity for people and their circumstances. And I feel like everybody should be born with a minimum threshold of empathy that's higher than what I've witnessed in the world. And I choose to selectively prioritize those that are a little easier with the heart. You know what I mean? Like, I just feel like I never approach it like the world's not meant for my heart or my empathy. And I've learned I'm learning how to repel things that don't serve me. But I would be doing myself a disservice if I didn't lead the way that I lead, right? If I would be doing the world a disservice if I didn't bring my full self to each assignment, to each person I talk to. And it's freaking rude.
I said you could curse, go crazy.
Why wouldn't you want to, like, if you're having a conversation with somebody, why not engage?
Yeah.
Why? And then, like, again, this probably is coming from a place of privilege. I'm the only child and only grandchild, so I don't have this desire to prove who I am. Like, I've always been viewed. I've always been observed. And so it's not like I'm like, hey, look at me, pick me. Like, it's never been that.
Yeah.
I like to do the work. And if the recognition follows, that's beautiful. I am so thankful. I don't take that for granted at all. But I have all my basic needs met, so I don't have to showboat for anything. That's just never my thing. And instead, I can focus my energy on making other people feel seen. As I'm being seen, we all can be seen. Look, let's all just take a picture, be on the billboard. Why not? But period. But I just like, I never understood why people pursue this career if they just want to be centered and want it all to be about them and approach it coldly. Why not open up yourself so that the people you're talking to feel more open? Why not open up yourself so that you can get the best out of people and the best story out of people too?
Yeah, that's why I lead with comedy so much and authenticity too, because the world does suck a lot, so how can I make you comfortable so that we can create whatever is beautiful, or actually be just a point of connection. If I can connect to you at your basic level and make this conversation feel like it's smooth like butter, like that's already a
Exactly.
plus
It
point,
does
and
feel
it
like
just
that.
makes
So you're
everything
doing your
easy.
job.
Come
You're
on.
doing your job.
Yeah, period.
But also, I think that if you come across me, any negative emotion that you could come with or a negative thing you could pull, I'm very intense and I'm very confrontational. So I will confront an issue head on. But I think that allows us to be more vulnerable because you never have to guess how I feel, what I'm feeling. I'm very much like, take it back to third grade communication. I feel this when this happens.
Yeah.
And it's never pointing the finger. I didn't say I feel this when you do this. I feel this when this circumstance happens. And just if we all could just be communicative, if we all could just not be afraid of how we're perceived and present our real selves forward, the world would be a better place. And a lot of people who view me as intense cannot say that, hey, Ari didn't care. Because I always care. I care about every person that encounters me. I care about every situation I'm in.
Yeah. These are the words of a girl that has been through therapy, right? I'm not going to frame it as you did this. I'm going to say it as myself.
Right. Like I am not going to point the finger, but this circumstance making me feel this way. Yeah. I can speak on my feelings.
Yeah. And I can say that when I first met you, you were intense, but I don't want to say like intense in a bad way. It was intense in the fact that it felt like you were so intentional in what you say. When you meet somebody, especially at it was basically essentially a meet and greet. So you say hi to people. Miss Ari Chambers, you are very good, even with the 5 minutes that I was able to speak with you. Boom, I felt like you're right here locked into our conversation. Yes, I would love to help. What's going on? Yes, keep going. Like efficiency, you get it done and you make people feel seen. I can't emphasize this enough. Every time, every interview, obviously I've done a lot of research, I've looked at a lot. You find a way to connect with people in ways that are just, it's very palpable from outside in. It's very tactile. You can feel it. You touch it. It feels real. So you're the GOAT at speaking. I feel like you're like
I mean, if it's any encouragement to you, like I said, like you are very not only well researched, but your personality is really dope. So it's just very easy to talk to you too. So whatever you think I got or you perceive I have, you got it too, bro.
Okay, I want to talk about something else you got though, very short. And if this is a no-no and there's a long story, touching, heartbroken, blah blah, we can just skip past this. I'm well researched. I'm a nerd. You have a molecule tattoo on your arm? Hello?
Yeah, it's simply caffeine. Don't let it fool you. It's caffeine.
Yes. I saw the molecule. I was like, there's a story here.
No, I drink a gallon of coffee a day.
Yes.
My personality is manufactured via caffeine, and that just is what it is. It's always been a part of me, and it just like that's my groundedness, my centeredness. That's my only routine in life is I must have my coffee. Period. You get it.
Girl, I have ADHD. This is the only way I can focus. Come on now. Come on.
That's what it is. I do have like most of my tattoos are nerdy. Like I have pie on me, like pie.
Yes.
I'm born March 14th, which is the best birthday to have. I share a birthday with.
Pie Day.
Are you March?
No, I'm not. I have a friend that's March 14th, and the only reason I remember, I'm terrible with dates, but like I remember that because it's Pie Day. So I'm like, girl, I got you. Yeah.
Girl, I share a birthday with Simone Biles, Steph Curry, and Einstein. And it's pie. Yeah. And so and I've always loved math. I'm as creative as I am, I'm a STEM girly. Like I am very much math and science.
Girl, we're here. We're locked in. I mean, computer science, there's a lot of math. I loved calculus. I was almost a math minor actually. But then there was one class where you had to like be able, it was proofs and theory. So it was too many words along with them. That's where you lose me there.
That's too much when you start getting to
No. I'm not going to prove that an even number plus an even number makes an odd number. There was literally.
Why are we
one class we asked the professor, hey, we need help with this problem. She literally looked back at us and looked at the board, then looked back at us and was like, oh you kind of just, gassing out like, nah, withdraw. Absolutely.
Keep that minor. I don't need it. No, I've always been nerdy. So it's so funny that you saw the molecule and things. I took the SAT in 7th grade. Like, that's the type of nerd I am.
Yes.
Like, I love the strategy behind school.
Yeah.
And so it just intrigued me. So I love taking standardized testing and hacking the system like that. I was like really strange like that.
Dude, no, that's not strange at all. That's definitely me. This is a little bit of the tangent, but who cares? It's a conversation at this point, baby. Let's lean in. So for me, ADHD. I was a very good student, but I hated school, if that makes sense. I love learning. Learning's great. But there was one time that I took a class over 3 times in a row, and it was because I just didn't submit the homework in on time. Long story, blah blah blah, whatever. But I got to the point where I was basically teaching people how to do the class. I created the code for there's always work that's passed down for generations. I created one of those because it was a new professor, and I did it by myself because I didn't think to like use Google. Like, I love learning, but school just wasn't for me, which is why I didn't drop out, but I definitely did withdraw like 2 semesters in a row and got my degree a little bit late. But I figured out what I wanted to do.
Hey, we made it to the finish line. It ain't about the pace. They're not checking for your pace. They're just checking. Did you cross? Did you cross?
Right. The tortoise in the hare, the tortoise in the winter, baby. You know what I mean? So yeah. But learning is cool. Speaking of learning, you talked about the fact that at the Autumn Johnson Women in TV Summit, you talked about the fact that you were, quote, learning to love your new dog. I want you to elaborate on that, and how's that learning process going? Also, Wayne wants to see your nephew.
Way too open with people, like random. Why would I tell you that? Why would I tell you that?
I learned. I listened. I was like, I need to write this down. If I ever have an interview with her, that line took out. I was like, let me ask this. Elaborate, please.
So you know how they have that trend that's like in your 20s, you'll da-da-da. So in my 20s, I got my soul dog. His name was Tiger, and that little evil butt decided to up and die last December. Like, why would you do that? Like, why would you die?
Why would you leave me alone? R.I.P. Come on now, you can't go out, man. Leave me here.
So me being the perfectly healthy and healed person I am was like, let me get a duplicate, right? Let me get not like a Tom Brady clone. Like, let me get a dog that just reminds me.
I was gonna ask, are you part of the Tom Brady school of methodology? Like, we're over here cloning sheep, cloning dogs.
Rocco acts. Look how Rocco acts. So I spent a couple of weeks trying to find a Yorkie that reminded me of Tiger, and I came up on this anxious little Yorkie who his name was Crash when I picked him up. Named Rocco. I named him Rocco. And he was anxious. He stood in a corner and shook. I was like, perfect. You're just like Tiger. Tiger didn't bark or bite or run. He was like actually very cat-like. He didn't do much. He just had anxiety.
Yeah.
So like, perfect. You're the one for me. Rocco was like that for about a week and a half. And then all of a sudden, I guess he felt comfortable and he just started running around like a nut.
That's what happens. Like they always get comfortable and then act brand new.
Tail in the air. Tail just in the air. And I was like, oh, this dog has got a little spunk, a little spice to it. So it was hard for me to adjust from my anxiety-ridden Tiger that I had from 19 to 34. And now I have this dog, Rocco.
Yes. And I mean, obviously, Rambunctious is saying it slightly because I don't know if Rocco's still gnawing at your feet as we speak.
Literally? Did you hear? Like, he literally broke in. And I have these new house shoes. Oh, see it. Hold on. I have these new house shoes, and he thinks they're his toys. He thinks they're his toys. So hate that for me, but
you need a stuffed animal dupe so they think that it's that.
Stuffed animals like the teams give you like the PR get or like the PR gives you the gifts. Dallas Wings gave us the mascot.
Oh yeah, the Pegasus, right? Yeah.
Yep. And so Rocco has destroyed him. The Liberty gave us Stewie. Stewie is now not Stewie at all.
Stewie's been stewed, unfortunately.
Stewie has been unstewed. Not even stewed, unstewed.
He broke down the particles that much. It's like the molecules at this point,
I actually need to throw that out the second we get off this. And then there was a pumpkin that PetSmart gave him because PetSmart had like a Halloween costume photo moment, and they gave the dogs the toys, and that pumpkin is destroyed too.
Yeah. So I feel like rambunctious isn't even the word. Like menace, absolute menace, absolute menace. Is the
Exactly how Elmo feels about Rocco is how me and Rocco were up until maybe last round.
So that was not even, that was predictive, I guess, that naming. You know, you didn't expect for that to happen, but it ended up coming to fruition.
Rocco's a rock. Yes. Yes.
Well, we are 50 minutes in, and surprisingly, there is basketball. We both like basketball, apparently. So we should talk about that just a little bit. Talk a little bit about the basketball that's happened. And we've mentioned this. Jesus, I don't know what is going on. This is an area you're familiar with because you grew up right around the corner and you actually went to one of these schools. I almost went to one of these schools, Georgia Tech. I'm talking about the ACC. You went to North Carolina State, NC State. Right there, as you can see,
it's the cheer uniform. There's so much state behind me. There's an obnoxious amount of NC State behind me. Anyway,
yeah,
I even have my little NC State shoe. Like it's like, right.
Oh, I love how you have the shoe in like close. I wish I could bring my.
Well, I mean, this was like an award, so it's like
an award. Okay. Oh, yeah, that's cool that they gave you a shoe for that. Was that custom made for you when he came back, or?
So I actually got the 2024 Outstanding Alumni Award, and I asked Adidas to like help me make a scholarship for like some charity to NC State. They were like, actually, we'll give you all these custom things. So this is Adidas' gift to me. But we're still working on the scholarship thing because I didn't, that's not where we were going with that. But thanks to Adidas anyway.
hey, steps, phases, okay? Right now, we worry about the other stuff later right now. At least he can say.
Okay, back to basketball. See, this is how we get there.
This is how we get there. But I will say massive flex. I asked Adidas. Come on now, girl. I love that for you, period. Come on. Who the hell is going to win the ACC? I think that's the question we need to ask because the ACC, unfortunately, has lost again. I think they've only won three matches against top 25 teams. Right. I had high expectations for a lot of NC State teams. Oh, I mean, NC State team, ACC teams, including NC State, the Dukes of the world, the UNCs of the world, the Notre Dames of the world. I didn't think that the struggle would be this bad, and unfortunately, Ari, we're getting to the point to where it is. Who's gonna win this thing?
Well, right now, to me, it's a toss, right? So like when you get into conference play, it's a lot different than preseason because preseason, what we've seen a trend of so far is a lot of tough non-conference scheduling. And they want to do it because they want to create a good product for the viewer. And it has been good, right? So like to answer your question, right now, Louisville's looking really good to me because they only have losses to UConn, South Carolina, and Kentucky, and they almost beat South Carolina. It was 79-77, I believe. And they look like the most well-rounded. I'm never going to count NC State out, though they are a team full of underclassmen. That's what people don't realize. Not only do they not have a senior in sight, they lost Isaiah and Sanaya last year.
And that was huge.
It was huge. Yeah. It's huge on the offensive and defensive end, right? You added Camille Pierre, you added Cadence. Like there are some additions there, but it's still a huge discrepancy. These are two like first round draft picks in the WNBA, right? Like that you've lost. Yeah. And they pushed up the coaching staff a little bit. So NC State, like that didn't surprise me. They have to gel. They have to get it together. It's a situation where it's a lot of loss, right? But like Louisville to me looks the strongest. Anything can happen. We saw Duke win the ACC tournament last year. Like anything,
big surprise, right? Yeah.
And what's happening with the movement in college basketball? Like you said, you had high hopes for Notre Dame, but they're having to adjust to a very new team without Olivia Miles.
Yes,
right? They have
exactly.
Without Sonny Citron, who they lost to the WNBA because obviously she's grown. And people are going where the NIL is there. It's just there. That's why you're going to see a lot of Big 12 teams come up a little bit more because the money's long in the Big 12 and
SEC
the Big 10 as well.
Money is long, and also Texas money long.
SEC regardless is going to be good. SEC and me, my good friend Lauren Dreher, we argue all the time who's the best between the ACC and the SEC, but obviously the SEC has really held it down this year. Historically, I think the ACC is the most dominant women's sports conference.
Come on.
But right now, the SEC just has the most comprehensive excellence because they have the skill that's there, they have the tradition that's there, and they have the NIL that's there, right? They can afford to have all these players. And I'm not saying the ACC cannot, but I'm saying that the SEC to me is the most well-rounded conference, and they're proving to be super dominant. And they're creating a legacy for this generation and the next going forward. Like, this is a conference of excellence.
Absolutely. They have all that football money to matriculate through all their programs to make sure that they can, they can get all the NIL players that they need. ACC, unfortunately, back in the day, they don't know about the Maryland days or the Notre Dame.
They don't know about the Maryland days. Back when we had, oh my God, they won the 2012 ACC championship. They won a national championship. And I love that Maryland team. Like, when it was Marissa and Christy and them. That was a great team. And even like when Shatori Bree and Lexi went through, before Lexi transferred to Duke, they had a great run. Like the Alyssa Thomases of the world, like that. So you had the 2000s Maryland, and then you had the early teens Maryland, or the teens to teens Maryland. Unstoppable. And they went to the Big Ten and ran through them for the first 6 years. But then you have other components in the Big Ten now that's like, it's just so much competition. But all this chaos really speaks to the parity of women's college basketball. I love it. There's so much parity now that we didn't see before, because the intimidation factor of one or two teams being so much better than everybody else doesn't exist, because one, they have been proven to be beatable, and two, there's so much movement within college basketball. The superstars can go barefoot.
I always joke to my friends. I have some staunch UConn fans in the chat, and I talked about the fact that the UConn industrial complex has now been eradicated, or at least it was for a couple years, right, where they dominated.
You say that as you're not the reigning champions, but I agree. I understand what you're saying completely.
No. Back in the day, now not so much. But back in the day, like, would say in between Stewie and before Paige and them actually clinched it, there were a couple years where players.
Shaky. I was like, and I like tradition, so I'm like,
and American born players actually didn't want, they wanted the grind, right? They wanted to go to other places, and that's when the parity came back. Now UConn has found a little tricky way of tapping into that international market too, to supplement it so that they can still keep on the traditions and energy. And oh my gosh, they're looking like they're unstoppable right now. It's crazy.
So, Ariema and Chris Daly are like, they're so good.
Yes.
And yes, the players are good, but that is a good coaching staff that demands excellence. He knows how to get into the ins and outs of basketball in a way that only few can. So there's a reason why he's been successful since the 90s. Like, there's a reason. I don't think because people hate Connecticut, they don't necessarily give Gino his flowers the way they should.
No.
I see people hating a lot, and I'm like, no, Gino Ariema deserves everything that he gets. CD deserves everything she gets. Like, that's a great coaching staff as well.
How many players can say that, even players who have transferred too, that their foundation was built because of the coaching staff, what they allowed them, what they saw in them, the roles that they were given, or what they were told that they're excellent in, or what they were deficient in to get better. You hear stories all the time about Nafisa Collier, and I remember Nafisa Collier's growth. She was not the player that she is now, and she talks about the fact that, Gino used to, he's a little cheeky guy, right? So he was like, you're like a traffic cone basically when people are going through the lane, right? Like, oh my gosh, anybody could blow by you. And so she took on that challenge, and now she's over here, defensive player of the year conversations. It's little things like that can really affect the player, stick with a player, and the amount of excellence that they place into those players, it's palpable. There's a reason why they dominate, period.
Yeah, and what I'm witnessing players who have come in and out of the Connecticut program, what I loved about their coaching staff is not only did they demand excellence, but they gave them the freedom to be adults. This is not a program that super polices their players' actions because you've established what the standard is. A lot of people don't defy that. And so it prepares you for the next chapter of life. And I think a coach like Dawn Staley does as well. She prepares you for the next chapter of life. She's not going to beg you to be a part of a program. She's not going to bend over and try to like make you super happy. Like it's that's the culture that she built. She built a winning culture.
Yeah.
And you can sign up for the long game, the long run, and it'll make you better. Or, it's not something she's willing to compromise the integrity of her program. And that's what makes good coaches, right?
Yeah.
And so when you have these legacy programs, but then you're also having the movement around, it creates an interesting balance. The top 5 consistently is in the top 5, but then the top 25 is just so fluid. And
that makes exciting ball
that's
for
what
me.
makes it cool. But if you do look at the top 5, what is it? UConn, Texas, South Carolina, LSU, and UCLA, I think. Who's the 5th?
Definitely that. Come on, girl. She works in this industry a little bit. She knows.
Coaches.
Yeah.
You have Gino, John, Vic, Kim, and Corey. And those are the legacy coaches, and that is a differentiating factor.
And you want to know a fun fact? I was going, because I'm a nerd, I was going through, it's draft season, so I'm looking at different players. There's a comparison between Tierra McCowan and Warren Betts and Camila Cardoso. I'm investigating that to see how true that is or not. And so I was looking at some old Tierra McCowan footage. This is like 2018 tournament season, right? It's old in the 2018, but it is old in the basketball sense in the world. And you looked at it like, who was the coach of Mississippi State and why were they in the finals? It was Vic Schaefer. Or like, who was coaching Baylor? It was none other than Kim Mulkey. And like Corey Close, she was there for UCLA, and I saw them too.
I'm telling you,
it's
we can't overlook the fact that these historic coaches are historic for a reason.
Yeah,
and that just is. And I love the new age, everything I do. I love the fact that anybody could win now, but there's a reason. There's a reason. Let's not take away from the legacy programs.
Good coaching really helps all. And I want to talk about good teamwork, good teammates, because that also helps as well. Unfortunately, or fortunately, bittersweet, I should say, when your teammates is leaving for greener pastures, and the whole women's world is crying for it, but happy for her as well. Elle Duncan is now leaving ESPN to go for Netflix, and we love that. But there was a big 3 send-off that we saw last night. I was in tears, bawling in every segment. How do you feel about the fact that Elle is now leaving? What are the vibes like? Because obviously you guys had a show. Vibe check. So vibes a little sad, but
I don't
happy.
know if chat can see. I keep our little picture here. Willow Bay actually sent us framed pictures of us. No, Elle is like a big sister to me. She's everything, how to navigate her former employer, our employer is I've learned from her, and just the confidence that she has at entering every room and the way she can bring people together. Her wit is second to none. Like, she's just a brilliant mind with a smart mouth and a tiny package that has such a big, passionate hit to it that there's no duplicating Elle Duncan. And though technically I'm an analyst, I am a host at heart. That's like what my background is, and I've looked to her and her ability to be able to carry conversation, facilitate conversation, and host in the most difficult, highest positions at the worldwide leader of sports. So Elle will surely be missed. The chemistry, she talks about chemistry all the time. The chemistry that y'all see of all of us on TV is because we're friends in real life. And when you saw the send-off with her and Chanae and Andrea on SportsCenter yesterday, those emotions, like Chanae continuously crying, is real. Dre has no tear ducts, so of course Dre's not gonna cry. But like that is I'm just kidding. No, but like that's a very real thing. We hang out all the time. It's a sisterhood, and I'm proud of Elle for having the standard for herself and not backing down and going where she wants to go for her life and what suits her. And I'm proud that she showed us that the magic of the package stays within you no matter how you navigate. But goodness gracious, that is a big void to fill. And I don't think there's ever going to be like a replacing Elle situation. She is, but like, she's like not going anywhere. We're friends in real life. Like all of us are friends in real life. So it's not like we're losing Elle forever.
Your world doesn't change, but
losing her, y'all are losing her.
Right, exactly. She's right here. She's in my pocket. I'll text her right now. Hello?
like did I weep on Vibe Check today because I got to acknowledge her? Yes, because her impact is lasting at that company. But also, that's our friend in real life. We good.
Right, exactly. It's fine. I'll see her on Tuesday. You know what I mean? Everything will be good. No, for real. I live in Atlanta, so obviously I grew up listening to her, whether or not I realized it. And actually, it's my mom that always points out, especially because I'm a shout person in the sports world, trying to level up. And anytime I have a little bit of doubt, especially
you're actively leveling up. You're not trying. You're doing.
Oh, I am. Come on, thank you so much. Come on, I'm in the process. I'm a growing beanstalk right now. But anytime I have a little bit of doubt, or I'm like, man, people won't like me because of my untraditional background. Like my mom was like, well, Elle Duncan did it, and she was doing this on the Ryan Cameron show, so you can do anything. And it's like, Elle has such a big impact to so many. Growing up as a sports fan, a women's sports fan, a women's basketball fan, you hope that you can have coverage of it at all. And we finally started to get that, but then we also started to get like a crew that was able to do desk work and talk about and analyze it. So a big loss, but I love that her story inspires hope in like all of us, because it's
empowering.
Yeah.
It's empowering because it shows you that no matter how good it may be, no matter how notorious the situation is or prestigious the situation is, you have to go where your heart is. You have to go where you're being pulled. Mm-hmm. And she was not afraid to go where she is being pulled. Yeah. And that's her season right now. And she's also gracious enough to open up doors for us before she leaves. Yeah. Right. She's very giving in that way. And so I'm very thankful for her. But I want to talk about what your mom said to you about, well, Elle did it. Everybody that you see in a position that is an aspirational position, I will put money on it. None of us did it the traditional way. The ones who really are in the forefront that show you like, oh, this is the person that I want to be, I promise you, none of us and I'm only telling Dre's story because she'll tell you. She was selling like drywall, like door-to-door drywall for roofing. Like, I don't know, crazy job. Monica had her own podcast, just like you have, right? Like, like all of us came from most of us came from a very weird situation. Yeah. Like, and we followed what we were pulled to do. Yeah. And if we would have listened to the powers that be, if we would have listened to the traditional way of approaching things, we would be very normal. We would just fall in line with the other, let me rephrase. We would be a little bit more disposable than what we are. We would be more disposable, and we're not disposable at all. We're not replaceable.
Girl, I'm not normal. I've never known what that word means. I'm very
don't find it, girl. Don't find it. You should never find normal. Don't be normal. Why the freak would you want to be normal when you just cannot?
Normal's boring. I moved to the beat of my own drum, and I hope that people accept it. And I'm so very glad.
No, you don't. You don't care if people accept it because you have your own. You own this pod is yours. Mm-hmm. You don't have to hope that people accept it. The right ones will come along, and the right person might be tuned into your Twitch stream, and you never know what opportunity will open up for you. Don't even worry about people's acceptance. It's finicky anyway. When you get to the next level, everybody will drop you anyway. Like, they'll be like, oh, we hate her. Oh, she's awful. Oh, this, that, and the third. And then you're going to be stuck with, like, you're going to be like, okay. And then you'll get a new crowd that will support you. Yeah. It happens at every level when you level up. Every single one.
All you do is be your most authentic self, and the rest will come, right? And, I mean, shoot, if like you said, if I lived for other people, I would still be doing computer science, okay? And I would be miserable. I probably wouldn't even be here right now. It's about following your own path. And like you said, what calls you? And I know probably people on your phone are calling you right now. Hey, Ari, you got stuff to do. So
I only have these.
You know,
it's like, hold on. 3, 5. There's only 9 text messages.
Oh, only 9? Oh, okay. A little bit low right here. It took the under. I hope you guys took the under, okay? Well, I have 5. It could be quick, it could be long, depending on how you feel it. But 5 questions that are all in a general theme for you to answer before I send you on your way to answer your 9 and what's sure to be probably 20 text messages pretty soon. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Serve the best place you've walked while modeling, or your favorite place.
Giovanni was my favorite designer to walk because they paid me the most, and they booked me as Ari and not as a model. So I got to bring my full self, and that was one of the latest shows that I've done. It was 4 seasons ago. And the best place that I've walked, oh God. I don't know. I've walked some interesting runways. Let's just stick with the designer because it will take me too long to think about, because I did 18 seasons. So that's a lot. So I don't know. My best designer is Giovanni though.
Come on, she says I have to go through the Rolodex. I do want to say, I want to point out what Wayne said. I tell her this all the time. I told her this happened to you, Ari. It's all in all caps, so I have to yell it while I say it.
What happened? What are you talking about?
Oh, he's talking about the fact that like I was talking about, like, just do you and the rest will work out.
Oh yeah,
like,
yeah.
He's been encouraging me.
What is Wayne screaming at you for?
Yeah. Trust me, he's told me a lot of you guys is like struggle, like especially in the dream and all that stuff that was going on. Okay, so serve, all right, best place to walk. Serve, favorite act of servicing the community.
I love my work with Junior WNBA when we go and we bring the clinic to different schools, or it's not schools, it's like community centers. And I always bring WNBA players there. So it connects the kids from, they're anywhere from like 4 to 14 years old. They get to have a panel with the players, and they get a clinic, and then they have vision boarding with Morgan. Ooh. And so it just is like a comprehensive thing that we do. I love that. That's my fave.
Yeah, I know the vision boarding part is super dope too, because it's a kid you're like running around figuring out, so giving them a pathway. I love that. Okay, serve, there's a theme here. Naomi or Coco, your favorite interview of the two. I'm gonna make you choose. I'm sorry, this is really hard, but
no, that's fine. I'm gonna say Coco because I have a closer relationship with Coco. And fun fact, we vision boarded last. So we had a vision boarding interview, and then we went to the Liberty game after, and that was super fun.
See, vision boards. I love how everything is connecting together. This is beautiful. Okay. Serve, severe. Most memorable weather condition you've reported in.
Oh my God. When I went to Wolfsburg, Germany for soccer, it was just so cold.
Yeah.
It was a different level of cold.
Negatives?
It was just very cold. So Wolfsburg, Germany, and just being so cold. I don't do football, thank God. Yeah. My girls having like remote control heated jackets. That ain't me. That's not my plight. Yeah. That's not my plight. Or here's a severe condition. It's a severe apparatus, not necessarily weather. Cliff diving in Boston. That's crazy. They built a literal.
You are so cool. I just want to say, she also surfs too, by the way. I neglected to talk about that, but you also cliff dive apparently. That's cool. I researched, girl. Come on.
Yeah, I love surfing. That's like my thing. I cover big wave surfing too. It's really fun. Anyway, they built this 90-meter like board, and I had to like walk out and talk on it, and it was terrifying. And I was like, God, if I slip. I'm one of those that used to be so adventurous when I was younger, and I would do handstands on the side of cliffs. But now, I don't know, in my old age, I'm like, I'm not getting near that. And I had to walk out on that board, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna die.
Are you trying to kill me? Like, I'm gonna die during a work trip. This is great.
This is terrifying.
Right, this is terrifying.
Yeah. Terrifying.
I'm glad you're still with us. Surveyor. Where do you see your career in the next couple of years?
We will speak this into existence. I will have my own show that's long form storytelling with women athletes on a network television that's intentionally only women's sports. Only women's sports.
Y'all men got enough of this, okay? It's about like, women's
not
sports.
Women's talent doing all sports. Only women's sports.
Come on now, period.
Having my own show that's like a talk show with athletes, I think would be great.
All right. Well, that those are all the questions. I'm very, I was so nervous in the prep of this. That's why I'm asking you questions about like what your social security number is and everything like that. Because I love to have, ask questions that you have not probably heard a lot, but also to explore you. And I'm very glad that it was a genuine dive into you, because I feel like you have such a fascinating story, and you're such a storyteller that you should be allowed, or your journey deserves to be framed too, solely by itself. So I'm glad I was able to do that, because you're cool, man. Like I said,
like, literally, I get talked to a lot though, and
yeah.
This was like, you were very thorough, you were prepared, you're fun, and you have a gift that a lot of people don't have with listening and being able to pivot. I know that that's not necessarily the order that you wanted to go in, because we obviously do, but your ability to seamlessly pivot, I can recognize as a host, and I thought it was great. To let the conversation breathe was great. And the fact that you aren't afraid to show personality was also great. A lot of people come in with a rigid skeleton of what they want and they don't deviate. I love the deviation. I thought the conversation was really good. And that's why it lasted 90 minutes, because when you can keep people engaged like this, that's not normal. Yeah. And so you have something that's not normal. So just know that. And I'm proud of you already.
Thank you so much. You know what? I've been called not normal in a disparaging way. So the fact that it's positive, let's go. Things are coming up already, mama. No, I really want to, like I said, give you flowers. I was nervous about this. Biggest name that's coming, and thank you for taking your time. And your 9, sure to be 20 text messages at this point. You're a busy woman, but I'm very proud of your work as well. And thank you so much for joining on in and giving us some love, okay? Guys.
Girl, I'm about to go frolic outside because your snow in the back, it's like, that's actually what it looks like outside. So it's like, kind of cute.
No. Okay, guys, I'm not going to eat into Ari's frolicking time, because he always got to frolic in the flowers, okay? Or in the snow in this case. So, guys, we will be rating out no, like, frill or fun or any, like, oh, no, what's going on? So here is the sub-raid message, and here is the raid message for you. Ari, I'm doing some nerd stuff right now. So if you need to go,
what's going on? I don't know.
Oh, I'm just giving people the commands. I'm about to raid out. This is me ending it right now. So I'm going ahead and giving them a message to send to our friends. Guys, I'm going to send it to from Ari to Ari. Okay, Ari X. We're gonna go to her. So give Ari some love. And tell her that I'm doing some close down on an interview right now. So she's like, "Oh, Bordy, what's going on? What did you talk about?" Please, RC, everybody who else is listening right now, please go ahead and send her regards. I will say, we have one chatter right here, RC Panther 22, that says, "Thank you for your time, Miss Chambers." And then I have somebody who is
Miss Chambers is crazy. Just call me Ari.
Just call me Ari. That's my government name. No, we doing that. And then I also have somebody who's a 17-year-old kid trying to make it in the life, a woman sports fan, softball, basketball, all that. She says, "My idol," teary-eyed emoji. So, like, you out here repping for people, okay?
Oh, she can see me. I was like, give her this.
If she can see you right now, okay? So we'll be starting the raid, guys. I love you all. I appreciate you all. Hopefully more like this in the future. But without further ado, this is it for Bordy McBoard, aka Andrea Richmond. And one last time for Ari Chambers. Any more closing regards? Anything you want to say before the holidays?
Maybe y'all can get me on Twitch, child. I don't know. I'm happy to hit you up because I ain't never been on a day in my life. So thank you for having me for the first time.
Girl.
That's it, though. Happy holidays, everyone.
Yeah, girl, if you ever need any help, I got you, okay? All right, guys. Love you so much. I'll talk to you later. And one more thing. Ta-ta. Okay. Wait, hold on. You're still here. We are still, like, technically alive, but not live, because I want to make sure the raid goes through. And now we are...